Hello my friend, how are you? I hope you're doing really well and staying really healthy. So today's video I am talking about my inspiration of Michael J. Fox. And I absolutely love him, so I talked a lot about him. I read a little bit from his book here. And basically I shopped my stash to create this eye look. I absolutely love how everything came out, and I hope you enjoy watching if you do, and along the way you'll get to learn a little bit about Michael J. Fox and how he's such a huge inspiration to me. So with all that said, I'll go ahead and start the video right now. Okay, so for my lips today, I am using the Too Faced Pillow Balm and Mango Kiss. So today's palette, I want to dip into the Profusion Sultry palette. It's got a lot of beautiful neutral tones with a pop of green and blue. So for my first shade, I am taking Adventurous, which is this one right here. And I'll go ahead and take my Sigma E40. So when I first discovered Michael, I actually saw him in a Super Bowl guest appearance. I believe it might have been in TV's newsroom where they were doing the reports for the scores or something, and he was just there supporting his rooted team. I could only assume because I don't recall him being in a commercial. And so when I saw that, one of my family members made a comment and said that he was brave. And then it kind of made me think like, oh, what makes him brave as a celebrity? And then I just wanted to know more about him after that happened. And so basically you could say that I started to look into his works as far as the movies he was in, because it said that he was an actor. And so I looked into his movies, his TV shows, and eventually his books. And so the more I got to know him, the more I became attached in terms of having a lot of respect for everything he has done, not only as an actor, but as a person. So I feel like he has made a huge positive change with how he has handled on his health condition. And so as a young teenager, I'm gonna say I was like in my late teens, I just started to watch him, like, as a fan. And so I started with, I believe it was Family Ties, and that show he played Alex P. Keaton. And to this day I still remember that name because that show was just delightful to watch. It's one of my favorite TV series. It took place around the 1980s when he was just getting into the entertainment industry, and during that time he was actually filming the first Back to the Future series. So the first movie, he made that during his time on that show. And when the movie released, his popularity grew huge. And yeah, like he was at the peak moment of his career. He had it where he struggled to get there, and it's just amazing how he didn't have Parkinson's then, but he struggled to find a job, and he didn't give up. He knew he loved acting, and so he moved here in California when he was like around 18, maybe younger. But he was from Canada. Like, imagine, that is a huge leap. And I know all this information, like this basic information, from this book. And I bought this book actually, I believe in 2012. 2012. So, this book, it's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Future. Twists and Turns and Lessons Learned. So basically, he talks about his experience of not going to school and how not earning a degree didn't prevent him from learning different subjects that is related to school. And so, like, when you think mathematics, like, you automatically think algebra, and so, like, you automatically think algebra, solving problems in a textbook, and that was not the case for him at all. So I'm going to be taking the shade called Wonder. Right here. And I'll be taking my Morphe M456. And so he basically used that example to say that he needed math skills to pay for his rent in California. He had to like manage his money really well so he wouldn't end up being homeless in the street. And so over the years, I've seen his latest TV shows that he had a chance to guest star in, and I believe he also did a show called The Michael J. Fox Show that I was so excited about when it first came out. I was into premiere parties, and I remember I did participate in it, and I printed out the worksheets and everything. I had my family fill out the questionnaire and watch the first episode of that show. It was just, I absolutely was just thrilled for Michael that he did that. And you know, in high school, I believe even in high school. So in 2011, my teacher said that, you know, he suggested for me to write a letter to him, and maybe he would respond back with an autograph. But I have not done that yet. I think it's a little hard to find a fan address that sends him the letter. I wouldn't know if he would even get it, but it wouldn't hurt to try as well. So I'll go ahead and take Ideal right here. And I'm going to be taking the Sigma E40 again to apply that on my brow bone. And so yeah, like, Michael has a special place in my heart for inspiration, for a great example of what determination to succeed in a better living with Parkinson's and positivity. Like, despite everything that he's been through with this disease, if I think of Michael, I think of him being a positive role model of handling an incurable disease. And I think that's like a really great example that we all should live by, including myself. I know I have my struggles of being positive, but for Michael to become an advocate for that in a situation where it would not get better, in fact, like, it could get worse because his disease does get aggressive over time, and for him to still say that in interviews that no matter what, it's what you have on your mindset to be positive and the rest will come through, something like that. And I think towards the end of this video, I want to read what he wrote in this book that I underlined myself, for me to always to look back on, to reflect that that's his experience, and it could bring motivation to just keep going. That even though life is not easy, others have it much harder, and just know that I could get through it, and you can too. So I'll be taking my Zoeva 232, and I want to take a duochrome shade, and this one is called Blitz, right here. And I'll go ahead and put that all over my lid. So I've always wanted to meet Michael. I've always wanted to just like shake his hand and to thank him for all of the work he has done. I still want to write a letter to him. I hope I could do that. I think it would be really nice to let him know that he's been my inspiration, and I just want to thank him for everything he has done with his novels, the movies, and the TV shows I've seen. It's truly like an underrated blessing to even get to have those experiences, to get to know someone like that in this world. I'll go ahead and take like a small detailed brush, and I'm going to go ahead and use the adventurous shade right here, and I put that below like right here on my waterline to add a little definition. I think one of my favorite episodes from Family Ties that I could remember Michael acting out was definitely the moment where he fell in love with his love interest. And ironically, his love interest is the one who he is married to right now. I believe her name is Tracy Pollan. That episode was just so precious because, like, I mean, I wouldn't want to spoil the episode, but, you know, Alex had a choice of what he wanted to do with this beautiful girl. You know, I felt like in the series they were a little confused, like if they should start seeing each other, if it would be the right thing. But in real life, Michael, he attracted a lot of actresses, but he ended up choosing the one who he had a chance to work with. And they became such a beautiful couple. They got married quite decently, and a good timeline that they were together. They ended up having children, and right now he seems to be living his best life. I actually did keep up with him recently, and he won. No, he didn't win. He was awarded an Oscar in relation to humanitarian award, something like that, where he has made an impact with Parkinson's research, and he has made so much funding. It's a non-profit organization, and it's amazing how one person could conduct research for a cure, and it has impacted millions who have it as well. Okay, the last shade I want to take is Gleam, right here. And I'll go ahead and take my Dollar Tree brush for my inner corner. And so most recently, Michael came out with a documentary for Apple TV. I hope they release it on Amazon soon. I would want to see that documentary. but on his latest interview, he pretty much stated that he would be okay if he didn't live at 80 years old. He actually made that statement. He said that he would not live until 80. And so when I heard that, of course, it's emotional because I would not want to know when Michael J. Fox passes on this world, but it is the reality of life. Life goes on. He has been battling this disease for so long. So it would make sense he would say something like that. And, you know, there is peace in that statement because he is okay to know that death does not scare him. And as a Catholic, I know that that's true. It's true because I do believe in heaven. I do believe in a place where our souls are not suffering anymore, and we all have our time when we leave this earth, and it's definitely when God calls us to be with Him when it's our time. And so let me read real quick what he said on that interview because I actually even took note what he said. And so he said, "Then I realized with gratitude, optimism is sustainable. If you find something to be grateful for, and then you find something to look forward to, and you carry on." So I'll go ahead and take this Amor Us blush. And this is in the shade called Ginger. If you could see it. And I'll go ahead and take my Spectrum blush brush. And so the last makeup item is this Kora Organics Rose Quartz Luminizer. And I'll go ahead and take my Spectrum B08 brush. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of some things I've outlined in this book. And we'll start with the first page, and it says, "What I've done here is draw a few observations based on my life experience and organize them in response to the broader question, what constitutes an education? Have the last dozen plus years prepared you for the future? Obviously, that's impossible for you or anyone to know. I could spend 5 months poring over your transcript and I still wouldn't be able to predict what's the next 5 minutes have in store. Life is a ride. Strap on, hang on, and keep your eyes open. So then I'll go ahead and read another page, and it says, before I continue with my own personal story, let me give you some idea of where I'm heading. It's all about control. Control is illusory. No matter what university you go to, no matter what degree you hold, if your goal is to become master of your own destiny, you have more to learn. Parkinson's is a perfect metaphor for lack of control. Every unwanted movement in my hand or arm, every twitch that I cannot anticipate or arrest, is a reminder that even in the domain of my own being, I am not calling the shots. I try to exert control by drinking myself to a place of indifference, which just exacerbated I am not calling the shots. I try to exert control by drinking myself to a place of indifference, which just exacerbated the sense of miserable hopelessness. And then he says, as promised, I try to avoid offering advice per se. My intention in writing this book was to be illustrative, not prescriptive. However, let me make this suggestion. Don't spend a lot of time imagining the worst case scenario. It rarely goes down as you imagine it will. And if by some fluke it does, you will have lived it twice. When things do go bad, don't run, don't hide. Stick it out and be scrupulous in facing every part of your fear. Try to be still. It will take time, but you'll find that even the gravest problems are finite, and that your choices are infinite. One education is never complete. A missed opportunity doesn't preclude the possibility of new opportunities or even better ones. I think I benefited from being equal parts ambitious and curious, and of the two, curiosity has served me best. It's all very well to be absolutely certain, as I was when I dropped out of high school, about what you want to achieve or where you want to be in life. That's ambitious. That's ambition. That's great. And nobody gets a straight shot to the top. Life is not linear. There will be detours along the way. For the curious, new clues will await at every turn and may keep pointing toward the chosen destination. Or maybe you'll stumble upon information that will inspire you to change course altogether, delivering you to a future you never could have imagined. And so the last part I want to read is this. After admitting that I didn't understand a word of what he just said, I told him, if I'm in a room full of actors, odds are I've got a pretty good shot of being one of the smartest people in the room. But if I'm in a room full of neuroscientists, I think it's best if I just nod and take notes. Truth is, in a span of maybe a couple of years, I have gone from talking to my agent on a cellular phone to discussing brain chemistry with cellular biologists. Like I said, I'm not much for advice, but I'll leave you with a quick review. Being in control of your own destiny is a myth and wouldn't be half as much fun anyway. Pay attention to what's happening around you. Read the book before you see the movie. Remember, though you alone are responsible for your own happiness, it's still okay to feel responsible for someone else's. Live to learn. Michael J. Fox, New York City. And so with that, I am going to conclude this video of my inspiration for Michael J. Fox. I absolutely love him. I think he is truly a blessing to this world, and so are you, because I believe any person in this world can make a difference, especially if it's just the smallest thing you could do for others, whether it's your family members or your loved ones, at your job. Creating such a positive light, I feel like people need that always. And so with that, may God bless you, be safe, be well. I thank you so much for watching. If you did, you have a good day or night, whatever time you're watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.